Welcome, everybody, to our live show on Tuesday. We are a couple of hours earlier than normal. That's because I want to watch an Iowa men's basketball game tonight. I want to see what Ben McCollum new team looks like. I want to see if we can get 12 new players to mesh on a team. I just want to see what this team's going to look like, and I'm anxious, and I'm sure everybody else is too. And so if you're
How many
watching right now
players?
or watching the replay, most of you all watch the replay. Um, hit that subscribe button right there in front of you. Hit the like buttons. Leave a comment or two, and by all means, please share this, and share it, and share it with your Oregon friends or Oregon fans. Share it with a couple of Oregon beat writers. See what they think. Let's have a little fun with this time, and it'd be a little fun at the Oregon show. After doing my homework on Oregon, uh, man, this is a heck of a team, guys. I don't know how they managed to lose, but anyhow, um, as always, I know I love it when Jason disagrees with me. Anyway, we're
Same
gonna, as
way with
always,
same way we lost to Indiana. They did
yeah,
too. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I want to just turn this over to Kelvin for his usual news. He
Can,
likes to do the news, and he usually comes up with some pretty good newsy stuff. Oh, wait a
can I
minute,
ask?
Jason, did you need something first?
Well, yeah, because you brought it up about the basketball. How many new kids are there? Because I can only know of one, and
all
that's
of them
Cook.
all of them are new except Cooper Koch and then a walk on named Nate Cook.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay,
Pronounced differently, spelled the same, and no relation.
right. I was wondering because the
Mhm.
only one I could think of was Koch and Cook. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Kelvin, your turn, buddy. You're on the floor.
Okay. I guess I'm supposed to mention the swarm even though it's right in front of you. There's the billboard
Uh,
on on big old 40-pound more me since I've
yeah.
been sick. So weigh
I'm into
215
I'm into
now.
Caitlin Clark stuff today. As you can see. If you break it, you own it. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, Caitlin Clark stuff. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, well, we got a freaking week of news to cover since we didn't do a pod. And anyway, got a real quickly. Kate Martin did a cool interview with Sue Bird. I didn't know this. She got a whopping $20,000 to come back to Iowa for her sixth year. She wasn't coming back. She said she wasn't coming back, and then car dealers gave her $20,000 to do commercials here in the Quad Cities. And she called her dad up and says, "I'm rich. I'm getting $20,000. I'm coming back." Little
Hey,
did,
can I
little did
on that?
little did she know how much Lucy Olson got to play in
Yeah.
that last year. So
Well,
anyway,
question for you on that, because I'd seen previous interviews where she said Caitlin Clark had to beg her to come back. Is
well,
that
yeah,
not
she
true?
said that. She said that in the interview. Everybody begged her to come back, but she
Oh,
wasn't going to do it.
oh,
She
okay.
said she'd played long enough, and she said it wasn't fair to Sydney and Folter to have waited around
Hmm.
improving and working hard for her to come back and take a Folter's minute.
Okay.
So that's what she said in the interview.
Okay.
Easily, I think I sent it. I think I sent it to you guys if you ever want to listen to it.
Yeah.
And then the the Kirk's record football win, Big Ten record, the game ball from where he set the Big Ten record for wins is now in the Hall of Fame. So the Hall of Fame wanted it, and it's on display at the College Football Hall of Fame. Okay, got another
Yeah. He will be
big,
soon.
huge. What?
Said he will be there soon.
Yes.
Are you
Uh,
frozen?
Not me. I was doing
I
my
wasn't.
news, and then you said something, so I stopped to listen to ask you what you said. Okay.
Well,
Another big football recruit week, another 60 kids coming in. Again, a lot of them coming many times. They'll be in here many times. It's interesting. I found out George Barnett, Tim Lester, Coach Wallace and Coach Hodge all have kids being recruited by Iowa for football. They're either freshmen in high school this year, probably at Iowa City West or something, or I think Hodge's kid's the oldest one. He might be a sophomore this year, but Barnett's kid's one of the top linemen in the country. But I think that's his youngest kid. So, I mean, his oldest kid.
I know he's been interviewed about him before, and he says that he doesn't talk to his son about football at all because
nope, and he don't talk to the coaches that coach him or anything. He said he's got coaches to coach him. He says, I'm his dad. I'll just parent him at home.
Yeah, good philosophy. Good man George, for realizing
George is should be stay very high in people's minds, I think. Kind of disappointing that the soccer lost. I think they lost like 2 of their last 3 games. They were hoping to finish second in the Big Ten, and they lost their first game in the Big Ten tournament. I'm sure they'll go to the NCAA tournament. That's women's soccer. We don't have a men's soccer team. That's not a club team anyway. Volleyball, they lost their first game this weekend in a close one, but then they went to Illinois and beat them for the first time since 2005. So the Iowa volleyball team is very much improved.
Yeah, it has improved a lot. Yes, it has. Yeah.
And then field hockey won their game over the weekend in overtime, 3-2, and our great All-American junior from Holland or wherever, Netherlands, wherever she's from, I think she scored all 3 of our goals. We won 3-2 in like 2 overtimes. But okay, Bjorn visited Texas last week, and she's in Kansas this weekend. And then hopefully a week or so later, she'll make a decision. I hope she don't drag it out forever. And of course, Jenica Lewis.
It won't be a week or so later because signing day is the following Wednesday.
Yeah, the next week.
Well,
so anyway,
the next couple days, yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's not before her visit to Kansas. So, okay. Hopefully Jenica Lewis makes a decision about the same time. There's no rule that says a girl has to make a decision by signing day, of course. So,
no, that is very true.
In an exhibition game that nobody could go see, the men's basketball team lost to a top 10 or 15 Texas Tech by 10. And in both their exhibition games, first one was at St. Louis, and McCollum just kind of haphazardly let guys play in that, but he really tried to beat Texas Tech. In both games, they were very poor from 3-point land. In the Texas Tech game, they were 1 for 12 in the first half from 3. He says that if that continues, he will play more of a slowdown game, of course, trying to get better shots, but that's I don't expect that to happen. And Tavian Banks.
Know why I was going to say, does anybody know why he chose to do 2 super secret scrimmages instead of a scrimmage and an exhibition game? Because there's no real exhibition game this year.
I don't know. You'd have to ask him, but he probably thought it was the best. He probably thought it was the best for his team. Mm-hmm. He likes to win games. So and then Tavian Banks did his punishment in practice and everything. And I guess, there's no suspensions of a half or anything, but I guess we'll find out tonight. Then, of course, the Hawkeye women played an exhibition, and they played a real game last night. And Chit Chat, McCabe, Hannah, Ava, and Emily Rodriguez and Journey Houston seemed to kind of stand out as played pretty good games. Addie Deal, I wouldn't be judging her yet, people are complaining about her already. Good God, give her a chance. She's just
I
an
saw that
18-year-old girl.
I saw that on Corey's show. People were going off on Addie Deal last night, and it's just like, dude, Jesus, give her a break.
Yeah, the turnovers are bad, but Caitlin's turnovers were bad. That's just let her play. I'd say the biggest problem is backup point guard. Just seems like, other than chit chat, boy, it's been a turnover machine. But Layla Hayes also played solidly. I'd say she's a big girl. That's probably be under 10 minutes a game. Maybe she won't even get that. I don't know. Hopefully, Tegan Mullaney, I think her first name's Tegan.
It is. You're correct.
She cracked her ankle, which she had a terrible ankle injury in high school and missed like almost a whole season. Hopefully, it's nothing like that. Hopefully, it's just game to game. But we really need her. She's a good shooter. And again, they're complaining about the 3-point shooting for the Iowa women. I think as long as Rodriguez, Deal, Chit Chat, McCabe, and Mulaney are taking the 3-pointers, we'll be fine. Yeah.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal on that, though.
Mm-hmm.
In that game, 21 turnovers is unacceptable no matter who you're playing. And you're playing a team like Southern, 21 turnovers is unacceptable. If you can turn it over 21 times against a team like Southern, think of what you're going to do against a team like Ohio State or somebody who also presses.
Yeah, and it was a problem. It was same problem last year.
Yep.
We had way more experienced players playing last year. So I don't think we had as good of an excuse last year. But we got, out of the 14 girls we got, 10 of them are brand new.
I know.
But I mean, a year ago, even though, if you think about it, there was new. Lucy was new. Like they were all learning together.
But she was a freaking 5th-year senior.
Right.
It's like when people say, "Oh, Kylie Feuerbach, I think maybe she'll shoot better this year from 3." Well, 6th year, I think her 3-point percentage is probably going to be about the same. But anyway,
did you notice Lucy's turnovers went way down as the season went? It just started bad. Yeah, I mean, the whole team's turnovers went way down. I expect that to be the same this year. It's just they're all new playing together. A full court press is hard if you don't just do it with one person.
I think the difference last year was Jan's first year coaching a basketball team as a head coach. Lisa would have had the full court press, all the how to break a full court press. She'd have had that in. And they'd have been really schooled on it right away during the season instead of waiting 10 games or something. But
instead of waiting until you got your butt kicked, yeah.
The first game was no test. I mean, everybody said how great the post played, but they had one big post player, and then the other posts the other teams had were literally 5'9". So, but the posts were very, very impressive in this game. And they just. Ava Hayden looks like an all Big Ten player.
Oh my gosh, Ava Hayden, between her and Hannah Stokey, the two of them last night. I mean, we're going to have to come up with a new law firm of Stokey and Hayden.
I mean, Jan did say what you said, Kelvin. Though Jan did say we can't really judge our post because it was another game where
that's where most of my information I give is not my idea. I listened to her post conference, and then she said it was not a test, so I put it in my news. I'm no expert. I don't say, "Oh, I think this." It's pretty much I listened to coaches all my life and learn from.
By making that statement, Jen is just prepping. Is just prepping for what's bound to come ahead when we play the teams like UConn and stuff. That she will probably struggle a little bit.
We'll struggle more.
Not to expect what you saw like that every game.
We'll struggle more than a little bit against Baylor and UConn. So Baylor upset Duke last night. So another piece of news is I didn't know they had Rex Roth on the Vandenberg podcast, and him and Dunker both want to go into medical school. That's interesting. Not many athletes become doctors.
No. Does that mean Dunker's not going on to the NFL?
Oh, he'll go on the NFL probably, but
yeah,
might as well make 10, 15 million before you go to medical school. I don't remember Robert Smith for the Ohio State Buckeyes, and he played for the Minnesota Vikings.
You mean Dr. Robert
retired.
Smith?
He retired after like 7 years in the NFL to go back to Ohio State and be a doctor. Now he's a surgeon or something for all this stuff.
That's what Jake Ruddick did at Iowa. That was one of the things that brought him to Iowa before he transferred to Michigan.
Quinn Schulte's in dental school now, which is the same thing as a doctor. I think what was the girl's name? Monica
Sonato.
No, her teammate.
I know the one that going to dental school. Wasn't Monica? It was
McKenna.
McKenna Warnock.
Warnock. Yeah. So anyway, then the other news from last week was so interesting was the coordinators' news conferences. Phil didn't tell a lot. He just said how everything's simple with him. You stick to same game plan every game. He said, don't change up a lot, little tweaks here and there. And he said he's very pleased with all five of the defensive backs, obviously. And he said middle linebackers a battle. He said he doesn't think Harrell, usually you don't lose a job for injury, but when he gets back to 100%, he'll be number one. But Montgomery might beat him out. And he also said the Frosh, Cam Buffington plays so good on every game that he might get a few plays at the end of the season as a middle linebacker. And then Phil probably teed off Oregon a little bit, talking about how much money they spend on their defense. And I noted here that, if Kirk said that, something that would rile up another team, all the Kirk haters, that sometime appear on your show would never let him forget it. That, why the hell did Kirk say that? That was stupid. LeVar.
I said it on the show the other night. I wish Phil hadn't said it, even though he didn't mean it the way it came off.
Well, he meant it.
Manning's going to take that. I'm sorry. He's going to take that and twist it for his own gain.
And then LeVar came on. He said he has great confidence in Drew. He's trying to downplay all these people that the sky is falling when he misses a field goal. He said Dakin is actually maybe very similar or farther ahead as far as his punting average than Troy Taylor was as a sophomore. Troy Taylor had some great games as a sophomore, like against Penn State, pinning them inside. But the rest of the season, a lot of times he was very inconsistent. Wetchen is superb, he said.
Weejan, let's get it right. Weejan.
Okay, the wet jet.
I'll go with
that. Pretty superb. Yeah, if we criticized you every time you frickin' mispronounced something or couldn't remember it, we'd never get a damn show done. So, Dean. So anyway, he said he's superb, and he has done it through hard work and coaching. When he went for the first few years at Iowa, he was just rush, do everything fast, and never ended up in the right place. But now he is a professional. He's worked on his body and everything. And everybody knows that Wet Jet is now a legend at Iowa. I hope he finishes it off against Oregon and USC
record against
and
Oregon.
Michigan State. And Nebraska.
Yeah.
And
I just want him to set the record against Oregon.
And the Oregon coach that today said he's the best return man he's ever seen. If you watch the Oregon coaches news conference today. Said Lutmer and KJ Parker will probably be the punt returners next year. He said Lutmer, when he made that interception return for the touchdown, that was against Wisconsin, wasn't it?
Indiana. Yeah. Oh, no. Touchdown was Minnesota.
No, we never had any interception returns until last game. Anyway, he said that return reminded him a little bit of Cooper DeJean. And the way he weaved through, didn't look like he was running fast, but he is, you know. And then he said the other guy who's coming from the same direction as Wet Jet is Jackson Nave. Is if you follow Iowa recruiting, you'd know who Jackson Nave is. He's a red shirt freshman. He played his first year like at South Dakota or someplace, and he's an Iowa City native, and he's a wide receiver walk-on and very fast. And he's developing. He's like Wetjen when he got out of high school. Wet Jet probably weighed 155, 60 pounds, and now he weighs 185. They're, you know, kids grow, develop. And he said the three things that every player at Iowa is, there's three things. He said there's one group that's interested. There's another, then there's the group that are committed. You know, you're interested in football, you know. Then the next group, the step up, is the guys that are committed to football. They're committed. And then he said there's guys like Wet Jet who are a step above that. He called them obsessed. They're obsessed with their game, hard work, their schoolwork, their practice. You know, he said if you're not obsessed, you can't be everything you can be in football. And then he says, as always, special teams has been a work in progress this year. He thinks that they're getting to where they need to be, hopefully.
They need to be there.
And then Lester. He said one of the first things they asked him about, the media, they always ask about quarterback, right? Like, good God, blow my brains out. But he said he was very impressed with Hecklinski, because when he was in there for 5 or 6 plays, he checked in and out of plays several times. Something that no quarterback did last year. And he said, then he talked about how smart Gronowski is. He said he checks in and out of play. He checks in and out multiple times in one play. You know, he'll have his eye on a safety and he'll check out of a run and into something else. And then the safety will move and he'll check back or check into another play. Then Doc asked, and Doctorman asked the same question to Tim and Kirk. He asked Kirk today about mid-zone runs, which are new to the Iowa system. That's part of the San Francisco 49er offense, is a mid-zone runs instead of just stretch zone and trap plays. And Lester went into a complete how hard it was to beginning when he come to get people to understand it. None of the assistant coaches were up on it. He said it took all spring trying to get everybody going in the right place. And finally, after spring was over, they went up to Green Bay. All the coaches did. And that's when the light bulb went on. And it's one of the go-to deals now, is run a guy in motion one way and do a mid-zone, what do they call it? A mid-zone run, you know, into the middle. And he said Dunker loves mid-zone runs. He used to have to get to a spot and block. Lester says, "This is simple, Mr. Dunker. You just run through the guy." Dunker goes, "Coach, I like running through people." I thought that was kind of cute, but then it was interesting that, and then Lester said he had to coach every position. When he coached the offense, which most offensive coordinators, they coach every position. I mean, Ronnie Harmon's interview, he talked about Bill Snyder was not the wide receiver coach. He was a quarterback coach and offensive coordinator. And he said Bill Snyder taught him to be a wide receiver. He'd never played wide receiver in his life. And Ronnie said that he told him to count to 3, 1001, 1002, 1003 when he's running. And on most pass patterns, he's supposed to be where he's supposed to be at the count of 3. Because that's how long a quarterback at the minimum should have, and they should be delivering the ball at that time. So anyway, and then it was an interesting interview I found of Traden Bassinger, who has now risen to the number 8 quarterback in the country. He was committed to Boise State. Now I was supposed to be the big favorite he's got a visit to BYU before signing day. And he told On3, where this article was, that he was so enamored with Lester. He was on the sideline during the game and he watched, and then Lester took him and they watched film and he explained to him what Gronowski did on each play. And he explained to him that Gronowski is much more conservative than he'd like. And he showed him deep shots that were called, and Gronowski did not throw them, but he should have. And he showed the kid where the guy was open for the throw, and they were perfect for that kid's passing game. And the kid likes that. And then the kid can't run. He's 6'5", 210, but he's kind of he's not as big a statue as Dan Marino, but and Lester explained that what he looks for is a quarterback number 1. He'd like to have a quarterback with everything. He'd like John Elway, guy can run a 4.6 40 and throw the ball 80 yards and be accurate and all that. And his dad was the coach or something. But he said the first thing I look for is a natural thrower. Second thing is a brain that can see what the defense is doing and take coaching. And the third thing is anticipation. Those are the first 3 things that he looks for. And now I'm what?
And Gronowski doesn't have 2 of those. So that's an interesting thing.
Yeah, he's got a brain.
Yeah. The one thing Gronowski does have.
And he's a winner.
Yeah. And he's a winner, but you didn't call out the winner part.
But he has some of the other things that Lester likes on down the line. You talk about pocket presence. I can't remember a quarterback with pocket presence. Maybe Drew Tate. I don't know. Banks kind of had it, but Gronowski he knows where the pressure's coming from.
Yeah, he knows. Smart.
Yeah. And Gronowski also is a runner, which, Lester would like to have somebody that's athletic. And that's all my news, I think. So.
Well, speaking of Gronowski.
Oh, I have one more thing. More thing. I forgot. I had it down here and I had it circled. I'm on Clemson watch. Do you guys know why I'm on Clemson watch?
No.
Clemson has already lost 5 games.
Yes.
Okay.
If they lose one more game, they will fall off the list.
Of what?
Of teams for the last 11 years that have won a minimum of 8 games.
Oh!
And then it'll only leave the Mount Rushmore of modern day college football. Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama. I can't remember the other. Jason, do you remember the other coach or the other team that might have won at least 8 games for 11 years in a row? I guess this will be 12 years. But
this will be 12 years. It might be Kirk. I think it might be him.
It's more than might. You know, he's got to win 2 more games.
Guys, got to win 2 more games first.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the Hawkeyes will fall off too.
Yeah, instead of the drive to 325, it's the drive to 2.
Okay, I got a from Kirk's news conference today. He showed me he has a little bit of humor with the media when they asked him about Harold starting. He goes, "I can tell you, Jaden will be starting." Okay, well, they're both Jaden.
And then he joshed with Chad Listico. Chad goes, "I think I know the answer to this question," and Kirk just said, "Well, don't ask it then." Save me some time.
Right. I mean, Kirk's always
that question is, and I'd like all 3 of you of our opinion right now. Chad's question was, who's the most valuable player on defense this year?
Oh God.
Who do you guys think? I know who my 2 guys are.
That's a question you would have to ask before the podcast. I don't think I could just blurt out 2 kids.
Well, I'd go with Aaron Graves and Lutmer. I think they've been the best. I think they've been the best in every game.
Aaron Graves would have been my one guy that I would have said for sure. And actually, I would if I was only picking one, it'd probably be Aaron Graves. He is putting so much pressure on quarterbacks, and he's getting his sacks because the back end is covering their guys. So now Graves is getting sacks, not just.
And you know how hard that is to do from a defensive tackle position.
Yeah, Warren Sapp was the last one to really do it well as far as sacking the quarterback from DT. Yeah, it's really hard for
a guy named Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Did he?
Okay,
yeah,
I would pick.
You're right, but they moved him all over. He got a lot of sacks from the outside, the inside, and he was only.
He only weighed 270.
Yeah, solid muscle. He had 6-pack abs.
All right, I'm going to actually pick.
Bean, are you going to pick somebody?
I was trying to, but you guys keep interrupting me every time I open up my mouth.
You said you were sick and you wanted us to run the show.
I said carry the show. There's a big difference.
Okay.
What'd you say then?
Okay. I'd have to go between Lutmer and actually I think Wampa's having a pretty solid year himself. But Edringer's in there too. I mean, it's hard to pick.
Yeah.
All those guys I think are
you got to give the Wampa a lot of credit. We've been all over him for the last 2 years, and we got to give him a lot of credit. You know.
Well, I think he was playing out of position. This is his position. I mean, you could just see it. But Schulte. I mean, what are you going to do? Because you couldn't take Schulte out, but Schulte wasn't as aggressive.
I think moving positions is just a cop out. He was talented enough to play the other safety position a lot better than he did. Not covering deep guys. What are you talking about? You know,
that's why he's playing. Free safety doesn't do that. That's the point.
It's a different position.
He's being utilized. Holy cow! No, it's not a cop out. The way he's being utilized this year is completely different than they ever used him. He is not a guy who just wants to hang back and play deep. He doesn't play deep. He's a hitter.
What I'm saying is it's a cop out if I was Nwampa. Like when I came up in football on offense, I was a guard because I was fast and everything. And when I was a sophomore, the coach says, "We're moving you to center." Well, how many people want to play center? You know, and he goes, "I want you to be center because you know all the blocking. You're the smartest guy on the team. So we're moving you to center." I could have copped out that year I moved to center and played crappy.
There's a reason people play positions. If you were able to play center, then it's not a cop out. certain people are just
I
good
didn't know. I didn't know I could play center, and I was kind of crappy for the first. I was kind of crappy the first few games, just like Logan Jones, But
bad exchanges.
but then I became a guy that they little small colleges like recruited, So anyway,
All right, Tanner Campbell has put his vote in for Carson Shar. I can't say that name, but you guys know who I meant.
Yeah.
So anyway, I could say it without looking at it, but then here it is. I had to look at it. That's where my mispronunciation comes in. I forget the way it's pronounced, and I try to pronounce it the way it looks. Anyway, he is our leading tackler on the team, so maybe a vote for him too.
I mean, I'm just going to say is everybody was dogging the defense, and I told you how fast and how good this defense is going to be, and they're the number 2 defense. They literally are doing better than what those of us who knew they were going to be good thought. The number 2 defense in the country.
I
mean, they're number 2 defense in the country. Yes.
Don't they have more sacks too than they've had in a long time up to this point?
Know.
I think
probably since Epinesa left.
Oh, that's a good point. You're probably right. Yeah, because
Dan Lanning called them the number 1 defense.
Yeah. Well, here. Speaking of defense, doing my research today, I don't know how up to date both schools' information is correct, but both Iowa and Oregon are listed as number 4 defense in scoring. But 13.6 for Oregon, 13.13 for Iowa, but they both listed as number 4. I don't know if they decided just to, hey, they're tied for 4th.
They have a total defense category. I don't know if they combine yards and points. And I was rated the number 2 defense in the country in total defense, and Oregon's like 3rd or 4th. So.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Oregon offense is number 2.
Yep.
Behind Indiana, I think.
But they also, their offense is different. They run at a higher tempo. Stats like that. There's another reason why Iowa's defense is so good is they're not on the field as long as well. So, that kind of tells you how good Oregon is when they still run that up-tempo offense and the defense is still good. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Campbell says he's biased because he's from his hometown. Just wait till we get Epi, Campbell's brother, and Coop's brother. Well, Epi's already played this year. Campbell's is on campus, but I don't think he's probably a scout team maybe right now.
Probably 3rd or 4th team.
Yeah. And Coop's brother. Yeah. He's going to be better than Coop. I can't wait till he comes to Iowa. If he does, he hasn't committed yet.
I don't think he's going to be better. Coop was in Carroll. Man, the amount of people who were talking about Coop's brother, how soft he is. He's not the hitter.
Oh, really?
He does.
He's a tall, lanky kid that ain't near as twitchy or fast. He's going to be a tight end, not a cornerback.
Yeah. Okay. He's not going to play corner. If they can make him be like a Jack Campbell, if he has that kind of athletic ability and play middle linebacker, but like Kelvin said, he's going to be more like a tight end. But, people were dogging. Apparently in the playoff game against Kemper and Carroll, Coop was there. Everybody was so excited Coop was there. But then watching his brother play, maybe it's because Coop was there as well. Maybe he was just trying to show off or he wasn't being himself. But, he didn't do very well against Kemper.
I hope the kid proves us wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But maybe he's the NFL tight end. Never know.
Maybe he's Vanderzee all over again. I don't know. But
that too.
He's like 6'5" or 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you guys, let's get into back to the Oregon game. You know what's scary? When I was doing the research, I was looking at the rushers. There are 4 top rushers. None of them are close to 1,000 yards or anything, but looks like they use so many. But they got 8.5 per carry, 9.9 per carry, 6.9 per carry, 5.9 per carry. These guys.
They run.
I'm sorry. Let me talk first.
Go
They
ahead.
look like they're running back by committee to me. I mean, I've not really watched an Oregon game that much, so I guess I wasn't paying attention that they're using a lot of running backs by committee.
Yeah. As ANF said today, by far the top rushing team in the country per the game, the plays they run, how they run them, and the running backs they have. It's like they have running backs who would finish in 100-meter dash would finish 3 yards ahead of wet Jack.
Number 23 for Oregon is going to be the fastest in the field. But he doesn't get like the most carries. I don't believe they like literally when he gets on the field, he's still 100% ready to go.
Yeah, the one that's averaging 10 yards a carry, he's a true freshman.
Is he number 23?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But Kirk talked about them having 4 true freshmen starting. He said they're about the youngest team. Them and Michigan are the youngest teams in the Big Ten by far.
Now there is a caveat to this. Moulton has more yards than their number 1 running back, but then when you throw our other running backs in, they don't even come close to what the others are doing.
Right.
The other 3 or 4 are doing for Oregon.
But once again, we're looking at stats that don't really mean anything when you compare the offenses. Oregon goes faster. They run more plays. They have a ton more talent on the offensive side, but they're also young. You don't know how they're going to act. I think they literally have 6 freshmen on the offense. 6.
I don't know. Kirk said they're true freshman defensive end or wherever he plays defensive tackle. He said he's just like a superstar. And another thing you have to talk about when you talk about Oregon's running all these. No, he's a great player. You can research it. But
no, I do. I watched the Oregon game.
They had you said something about, they get a lot of yards, but they hurry up offense, they get all these rushing yards and they throw the ball like 3 times more than we do.
Well, they run more plays. That's my point. They run a lot more plays because they go faster.
Guys, according to the stats I have here in front of me, they actually pass more yards per game than they do run.
Well, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. They're great at everything.
They go fast. Their
number one passing defensive team, though. They're holding teams to 114 yards. And I know I know, Jason, you're not really crazy about stats, but we use them to kind of get a barometer of what we're up against.
There is no barometer because Iowa's probably going to pass for more yards than that against Oregon, simply because of how Oregon is going to try to stop Iowa. They're going to try to shut down the run and make receivers beat their corners. They're going to be playing up tight. So they're going to still run, but the play action game is going to be on fire for Iowa. Gronk has to throw the ball better down the field in this game. But those are the keys that we'll get to. But I'm just telling you, number 44 is okay on Oregon, but their D line is they have one hefty on the D line that's pretty good, but the rest of them are so weak. You can run the ball against Oregon, so I mean we're gonna pound it at them. So they're gonna have to bring everybody up to stop the run. I don't see that their DBs are pretty. They're fast. They're a fast team, but they're light. We're gonna pound it at them. But they're going to have so many people up that we're going to have receivers open down the field. So that's why.
I hope they run the same defense they ran against Indiana, because then we'll run the ball against they have 2 defensive ends and they have 4 down linemen and then 2 linebackers. And it's like A&F said today, their 2 defensive tackles are like all world. He said, but they run the same defensive system that Jim Knowles runs at
Penn State.
and they run this. They're in that their defensive linemen don't stunt.
They don't stunt, but they're not very good. So
he said this is what the ANF guys said in their deep dive, and they showed their videotape. They said Iowa will kill the edges, and anyway.
No, I mean, like I said, I usually agree. I don't agree with that take.
They have one defensive lineman. I can't remember what his name is. One's named Bear Washington or something. I don't know. And then there's the other one. But the one that's 6'2" and weighs 290 pounds. You know how Jason, when they have Caleb Johnson or Wetchin running or Wetjet running into open field, and they'd say he hit 21 miles an hour.
Yeah.
As a maximum speed. I think Caleb Johnson got up to 23 or something, but Wetjet's got up to 21 point something. That one defensive lineman hit 21 miles an hour in a game.
No, I believe that. But when he's a DT.
Ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Right, he is not, but the thing is, he's not strong. You can run it right at guys like that. That's what I'm telling you. Iowa's style, those guys. Who cares how fast a D lineman runs? Yeah, their scheme, like you said, they don't stunt. So unless he gets away from Iowa's linemen, that speed don't matter. Man, when I watch the Northwestern game, holy cow, Northwestern was able to run. Well, that's not a good take because Oregon had to travel all the way to Northwestern. But, even look what Indiana did to them running the football. Granted, this is where one of my takes will be. Is I don't think we see that same defense because they can shut down Iowa's pass attack. Possibly they're going to try by bringing everybody up and make Gronowski beat them throwing the ball. That's kind of what I think they're going to do. So I don't think – and obviously Indiana can throw the ball, right? So they had to do something different with Indiana, which didn't work. But
I just hope they didn't. I hope they didn't learn anything from the Indiana game. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you're right though. If A&F said that about Indiana, I mean, they're spot on. I hope they run that same defense they did against Indiana because we're going to be able to run the ball all over them. I just don't see it happening. But we're going to see that.
Well, they said that their cornerbacks are great run defense cornerbacks. One was all Big Ten cornerback at Northwestern last year, and they gave him money, and he's starting for Oregon. And of course, they got the number 2 safety in college football last year was at Purdue, and he went, and he's one of their safeties. But he said it's hard to run any wide receiver screens. It's hard to run to the sidelines with your running backs because their cornerbacks are so big and so good against the run or against screen passes. They said if you're going to run a screen pass, you want to run it in the middle because their 2 linebackers never force up on the run. That's what A&F said. So I mean, that middle of the line screens, or if you can get past them, 2 defensive tackles, you can run up the middle.
I mean, they're spot on with that. I 100% agree because they play that wide. And but they literally can use their outside linebackers, whatever they call them, I don't know, to stop those wide receiver screens because they're wide out. And that's probably why they say we're going to be able to run on the edge because they have these light guys out here on the edge, but they can stop wide receiver screens. And I 100% agree with their take on the middle. Like that one play to Wetjen and the tight end. We've ran that middle screen to the tight end to Vanami, or however you pronounce his name, Vahami.
He used to run it to Sam Laporta all the time.
With Brian as see.
Yeah.
And we ran it against Minnesota, I think, on the first play of the game, if I remember, to Weegen. Maybe it wasn't the first play, but I feel like it was really close to the beginning of the game.
Yeah, A&F showed the replays of what you're talking about where they ran, I think it was, I don't know if it was in the last game against Minnesota or
they did run
whoever we played last, ran Wetchen in the middle screen right at the beginning of the game, and he got like 22 yards or something. He said that will work against Oregon. Then they showed Wetchen on the, what you call them wide receiver bubble where you got 2 blockers in front of them and it's kind of a bubble screen. Said that will not work against Oregon.
if they're playing that same defense, the wide defense, it won't work. So I don't see Iowa even trying that unless they bring things down because they got to stop the run. I mean, the game's going to be a game within on strategy. If we're able to pound at them where they have to bring people inside, then you can run those wide receiver screens. But if they run that wide defense, you can't run them. So, I mean, I think Lester's smart enough to know not to do that. And Gronk usually reads what's happening. So I don't see Gronowski throwing the ball out there if they're in that scheme. So
they also said that they said their defensive ends will be suckers for Gronowski running bootlegs and stuff. They're not good at it. I don't know what they said they do, but they said, I mean, and the one defensive end, I think he's number 44 that's on the defensive end. He said, Gronowski will not run towards his side because he will kill Gronowski. He looks like Matt Roth. But he said on the other side, I don't know if they said number 5 or I don't remember what they said. They said he's a wuss. He's just an athlete, you know.
Most of them are just athletes. I'll disagree with them on the 40. I got to watch that episode the way you're talking about it. But I'll disagree with 44 as well. Number 10, I want to say that's DJ Ugalale's brother. He's young, but he's a little wiener on the defensive line. He's like number 10 or something, but he's a defensive line.
I could have had the number. Could have the numbers wrong, but this guy, the good defensive end, looks physically like Matt Roth. I mean, he's not he doesn't look like Joseph Anderson. He looks like Matt Roth. He just put together and mean looking.
He's got some good gym muscles. It is probably 44 they're talking about.
I don't know.
But mentally, I'm talking about mentally.
Hey, Dean, you want to say something?
I'm just listening to you guys. I mean, you guys are pretty much covering it. You guys are doing exactly what I wanted. You know,
what's great about Oregon statistically, which is terrible for Iowa, is Oregon is good pretty much at everything. That's what the A&F guys said. Running game, they run like 5 or 6 plays over and over again. You know, a lot of them on the edge, but they also run. And then they said they're impossible to stop if it's 3rd and 2. They're going to go for it on 4th down. They said they're like the Philadelphia Eagles. You cannot stop on 4th down. If it's 4th and 1, you cannot stop them. I have faith in Phil stopping them maybe once or something.
Do they?
They said no.
Are they talking about the tush push in Philly?
I don't know. They said on one play. I don't know if they're talking about Penn State or Indiana. You know, it's 4th and 1, and they did the most manly thing in the world. They ran a fullback dive, which usually a quarterback sneak is much more effective than turning around, handing to a fullback.
Okay, I'm going to stop you guys right here. Okay.
Yep.
Well, hold on.
I got to know officially what a tush push is considered. I assume it's like pushing the quarterback into across the line.
Like Hayden Large checks every one of our quarterbacks' prostates.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. Is that legal? I assume it's legal, or they wouldn't be doing it.
Used to not to be legal to push a guy, your own guy, forward that has the ball, but now it is. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can go all the way back 2006 with the Bush push. You remember that? USC against Notre Dame. God, I was so mad because I like Charlie Weiss, and they let Bush push Leinart, I think was his quarterback, into the end zone at the end of the game. Notre Dame had that game won. But I want to just say, like, the play that I'm afraid of with Oregon, and I hope we don't fall for it, because Oregon's quarterback, he doesn't run the ball a lot, right? But the play that they do like to run I don't remember. I've seen it a few times. I think they ran against Indiana, but where they'll run quarterback power outside and the quarterback stops and throws it back and the whole defense flows with them. But they don't ever actually run the quarterback power. So I don't know why defenses fall for it. I'm a little nervous about that because Iowa is a very aggressive defense, right? So I could see them going after the quarterback because he'll do quarterback power left. So he'll roll left with a lead blocker. So it looks like it's quarterback power, but then he'll just stop. It's like the old days of the triple option. Remember how they would run the option, the quarterback would stop and throw the ball? That's kind of what they do if they're out of spread and they use the running back as like a lead blocker and they'll roll and he'll stop and throw it back. And every single time I've seen him do it, it's been wide open. I think they even hit Indiana.
So maybe they're when people fall for it, they're counting on a bad throw, a bad snap, or they can stop whoever he threw it back to. Because honestly, I think if they don't fall for it and they go to, to whoever getting the ball thrown to him in the backfield, whoever that is, well, then you're going to have what you called your quarterback power. He's just going to take off and go because nobody went with him.
I call it the reason that would be successful is poor defensive coaching. And I have faith in Phil, that, hey, when they run that, Deshaun Lee or TJ Hall or whatever, that's what's coming. Pick it off. You
have to stay disciplined and play your spot, right? So backside defense can't just flow like it's a quarterback power. They have to stay backside on that.
Hey, Jason, are you old enough to remember Tim Dwight, Jason?
No, my son's name's Tavian Banks. He doesn't know Tim Dwight either.
Okay. But you remember up to Minnesota, Tim Dwight, the only touchdown. Well, he might have had more than one touchdown pass, but they ran him in a jet sweep or reverse to one side at the Humphrey Dome and threw it back to Matt Sherman, who had a broken foot, for a touchdown, and Matt Sherman fell into the end zone wide open. But let's run that. Let's run that play.
They call that play today the Philadelphia. What do they call it? The Philadelphia something.
Because they did it in the Super Bowl.
So they call that Philadelphia special. Yeah. Yeah, you're really young if you don't remember Tim Dwight. I mean, my son's name is.
I know the other night you called me and Dean as just two old guys.
Oh,
and I thought, well, you must be wearing a diaper yet because we're not that old. So
well, I will say this: Jason's about the same age as my daughters, so I believe Jason, you're in your early to mid 40s, right?
mid 40s.
Yep,
that's where my daughters are at.
I'm like 15 years. I'm like 15 years older than him, and he's like Kelvin's an old man. That's why I can't remember.
60, are you at least 60?
Once you get to 60, you're old.
Yeah.
Man, I used to think that.
Vandy is old. Vandy's old. He talks about watching Jan play high school basketball.
As a kid, I think Vandy's younger than I am. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he is.
Jan is. Yeah. I can remember watching Downtown Freddie Brown play. So, but I was only 8 years old. But I can remember it. I have a memory. So, anyway.
So Jason ain't knowing anything about some Rob Hotland. Ha 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 ha. I'm older than Jan by 1 year, he says. So you're both in your 50s.
Yeah, that's good.
Vandy, you're just a youngster, man. You're just a baby.
Anybody wants to know how old I am? I turned 63 in June, so I don't consider that. I only got 30 more years of being a Hawkeye fan.
Yeah, guys, the easy way to remember my age. I'm 1 year younger than Kirk Ferentz. Actually, 10 months younger than him.
You got a future yet, Dean.
I know it.
You know, might be in prison, but you got a future.
What? What? What?
It's called a joke.
No, you said I was mean when I said that we know why he's not getting into heaven. Now you put him in prison.
Anyway,
it's
guys,
an old thing my dad would always say. You sure got a future, son. And he goes, he might be in prison, but you got a future, you know. It's just being funny. But anyway.
I was there in 1986 when Len Lorenzen scored 105 points in one game for Ventura High School. Golly, guys, 1986 is when I left Iowa the first time. I moved away from Iowa the first time.
1986, I was milking cows, and I was out of school, that's for sure.
Well, I'd been out of high school and graduated college all by that time. And I was married with 3 kids by 1986.
That was when 1987 was when corn hit $1.15 a bushel. Yeah. And the farmers today think they have a farm crisis, you know. Yeah.
So, Vandy, you should probably tell people in 1986 they were still playing 6-on-6 ball, right? That's why she scored 105 points in one game.
They were playing 6-on-6.
Yeah, for the Ventura Lady Vikettes.
But yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
I wish you'd watch that ANF thing today, Jason. They showed a play where Oregon does something, loads aside, and they always run there. And Wisconsin scouted it and just blew them up every time. He said, and ANF said, I sure hope they do that against Phil, you know, because we're going to blow them up just like Wisconsin did. So scouting's a great thing, you know.
I mean, scouting's fun. I would love to watch a game with the ANF boys, just to talk with somebody like that during a game. That'd be fun. Only 3 schools in Iowa had played.
Hey, Vandy, on the 3 schools in Iowa that had played official 5-player game, most of the big schools were switching to the 5-player because they couldn't compete with the 6-player anymore. And I believe it was by 1986 or maybe it was a couple years later that I know my old high school switched to 5-on-5 from 6-on-6 when Molly Tideback was playing for Columbus at that time. But
there for about 5 years, they had a 5-on-5 state champion and they had a 6-on-6 state champion.
Yeah, because my school didn't switch to 5-on-5 until like 91. It was one of the last years because our Atlantic girls were
Hubbard Radcliffe School had the last 6-on-6 championship, and I don't know, it was in the 90s sometime, but I was living in Hubbard, and I managed the grocery store there. And so the girl who played, I can't remember her name, but her last name was, I can't even think of her name, but we almost bought a house from the lady in that town who was the mother of that girl and stuff. And, you know, and the coach that coached that team was still living there. He wasn't coaching the team anymore, and it was great. Yeah.
The C. Vivian Stringer and Christine Grant were the beginning of an Iowa basketball tradition at the University of Iowa, and they started the end of 6-on-6. They'd have Vivian Stringer on at the state championship game interviewing her. She might be there watching Lisa Becker or somebody, some Katie Abrahamson maybe it was. And they'd ask Vivian about, you know, the prospects there. And Vivian would say, yeah, they got a lot of potential, but I wish Iowa played real basketball because it wasn't real basketball at all. You know, girls, they didn't have to be in shape. You know, only one side had to learn how to play defense. You could dribble the ball twice, you know.
But I mean, I enjoyed the hell out of 6-on-6. I wouldn't mind.
We all did.
I all did 6-on-6.
But it came down to Iowa and Oklahoma were the only two 6-on-6 states there in the 80s.
I grew up on 6-on-6, and it was still 6-on-6 when I left Iowa the first time. Coming back and finding out that people had switched to 5-on-5, I thought, what? That's sacrilegious. Anyway.
All right. What's our next deal?
Anyway, can we get back to Oregon? I mean, people tune in to watch Oregon.
It was just terrible that we gave the women the right to vote, Dean. I mean, Jesus. moving into modern society, Dean. You know, you don't keep playing 6-on-6.
Yes.
You know.
Wait a minute. Okay. What do you mean? We can't we got to take the women's vote away. We've got to put them back in barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. They don't work. They take care of home kids. Now, you guys, I'm being sarcastic.
Brittany, I've heard Dean before. Brittany Greer's a man. You know, it's like.
No, that wasn't me. I've never said that.
Yeah, yeah.
You always
say you never say.
Know who did. You know who did. You know who did, but it was
somebody
never
actually
me.
did.
Was it one of them? Was it one of them idiot friends of yours?
They're not idiots, but yes, one of my friends.
Somebody
if you said that, you were.
Yes, on a show live.
One of them guys that love Boudmeyer and love Ferentz and they love George Barnett and they love Ray Braithwaite. You know, oh my God.
Yeah. Now you're only talking about one guy.
I don't even know what guy you're talking about, to tell you the truth, because I don't.
I'm not saying his name. I'm not gonna out him.
I don't know who you're talking. I honestly don't know who you're talking about, but I know you've had a bunch of guys on there, and you've had a bunch of guys that commented that said shit like that, and it was like, what the hell, you know? But
let's move on.
I honestly don't know who you're talking about, but
the game starts in a half hour. We gotta get going.
Yeah. Okay.
We got an hour and a half.
Is there any more you want to talk about on Oregon and what we need to look for, what we need to win? Because I got a couple questions I want to pose toward Jason a little bit. Are you guys frozen? Can you hear me?
No, I'm sitting here listening. You said you wanted to ask Jason something, so go ahead.
Okay.
Well, I just want to make sure we're done with Oregon because I got a couple other things I want to move on to so we can wrap up the show.
We ain't done with Oregon. I got 3/4 of a page of notes on every player and everything yet.
Oh, okay.
This turned into a poop show. Come on, let's go.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, let me ask the one question before I forget it so we can go back to Oregon then. The other day on a commercial or a video that was not a commercial, a video that was featuring Urban Meyer. He was talking about the Iowa offense, and he called it the triple option. Is that what we're doing, or is it just Urban Meyer being funny?
No. It's the modern day triple option. Yeah. When they do the wet gin scheme where he motions to the backfield. Only thing, if you think about what the triple option was, it was like back in your day. The wishbone day, right? Oklahoma. It
was called the wing T back then.
Well, no, the wing T, you actually had a T formation, but let's go with the wishbone. It's where you fake it to the fullback or you give it, right? That's one option. Then you go and it's either the quarterback keeps it, there's option 2, or pitches it. Now in this scheme, with what we're doing with Gronowski, Wetjen, and Moulton, it's the same type of deal. Only we pass out of it as well. So like when Wetjen comes, you know how they fake it to Wetjen? This is like one of my favorite formations that Lester has brought in. It's like a triple option because
I like this. When you get done explaining it, we'll let Kelvin answer that question.
I can't read the little writing.
We'll ask you it. We'll read it to you.
The next question is for you, Kelvin. But I guess this is the actual play. I mean, I wish I would have saw what you saw, but this is the play I've been wanting to do since what game was that we brought it out? It wasn't the Wisconsin game, right? Remember I told you I wanted to do a video on this particular play.
Yes.
What it is they bring Wetjen in, so they fake it to Wetjen, and then Gronowski will spin, and he gives it to Moulton up the middle going the opposite way, or they give it to Wetjen. Basically, Wetjen, Weegen, however you say his name, Weegen is basically like the fullback in the old triple option days, right? Or Gronowski keeps it and runs, right? So it is like a triple option, but Iowa actually threw out of that a couple times as well, doing that exact same thing. So yeah, he's not being funny. I mean, it's just the modern day triple option, which a lot of teams do.
Oh,
a lot of teams
Vandy
do that.
says they call it the mesh.
The mesh point. Well, no, the mesh is.
Well, mesh. We only ran that like couple plays in the second game.
I thought it was like one time.
The mesh is
totally different.
The mesh point is the handoff. So you have the mesh with Weegen, and then you have the mesh with Moulton. The mesh is the actual handoff, which when I coached it, like the RPO, I was a me, go. So I had the quarterback say me, and then go, so they knew to take the ball. Right? I doubt Division I athletes do that, but I know, that's how I would teach it, because that's why there's so many fumbles, right? There are so many. It just happened in – who was that fumbled the ball? I can't even remember. There was a game I was watching on last Saturday that the running back thought the quarterback had the ball, and the quarterback thought the running back had the ball. And it didn't. I think it was the game against Illinois. Whoever Illinois was playing, I think, did it. But
okay.
I've been Rutgers.
That's what he's talking about. It's just the modern day triple option.
Okay.
Is anybody going to read me? Anybody going to read this question that I'm sure is serious?
I'm going to read it to you right now, Calvin. Okay. I need to ask Calvin. This comes from Vandy. Mm-hmm. Do you think Kirk might decide that because there are so many jobs open right now that he stays another year instead of retiring since he got the record? So Vandy's on the belief that Kirk's retiring this year.
Yeah, I heard. I watched which I love to watch, the Punting is Winning podcast. I don't know the two guys named JD and somebody else. And anyway, they claim the first podcast of the season that Kirk was going to immediately retire as soon as he beat UMass and set the record. I think Kirk will probably, I know it's not a serious question by Vandy, but yeah, Kirk will. It was like somebody said today, one of the reporters, they kind of predicted that Kirk might stay till 2035. He'd be 80
after 29. I think after 29 will be his last year. That's just
I have no clue. I just believe what he says. That he has no plans of retiring, and I've heard he promised some of the guys that came in, like Epinesa and Woods' kid, that he would stay through their tenure. I don't know if it's true.
All I know is
we can all jump to conclusions, but
Kirk has said a couple times that he's expecting to get an extension, and at this point I believe it'll be this year he gets an extension, 1 year added every year for the next until he decides to leave.
Well, it's something you gotta have extensions to show recruits. Hey, look, I'm signed for 5 more years. I'm going to be here.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Everybody says, "Oh, that ain't
give him 4 years."
That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen.
If you give him a 1 year extension rollover every year, that will keep him 4 to 5 years. I'm trying to remember how many years he has after this year.
Did I interrupt, Jason, answering your question you had, or?
No, the only thing I was going to add was my favorite passing play is the mesh. I've discussed that with you guys. If you remember what the mesh is on as far as in the air, in any passing attack, I was just going to throw the mesh. Like the mesh is used in a lot of different. My favorite.
And then there's a slow mesh.
Yep.
The one where you stop completely and freeze, like, what the hell is that?
Well,
the first time I ever saw that. The only time I've seen it. What the hell was that?
It gives the quarterback longer to read the defense, and it freezes them linebackers.
Yeah,
that's the whole idea, right, Jason? Is that right,
Jason? Stood there.
Well, because the offensive line stops. So the defense is like, what the hell? Like the offensive line doesn't even, because it's so slow, the offensive line can't go downfield. So
Dunker hates it. Dunker hates it because he don't know, are we throwing the ball? The offensive line has no idea whether we're going to throw the ball or pass it. So they're pretty much, that's our best group we have on the field, and we're taking them out of the game, really,
which is why Dean got on Dunker, remember? When he was ineligible downfield against.
Well, he had a brain cramp or whatever, but whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. That cost us a game, by the way. It cost us, I can't remember if it was Indiana or Iowa State, but it cost us a game.
Here's an interesting stat, which I'm sure you've seen all week. Is since 2019 in November, Kirk is 21-3.
Yeah,
and we
everybody's seen it.
All of us would know what 3 games it was. It was the Nate Stanley going for 2 points on the quarterback sneak at Wisconsin in 19. And then, of course, it was a no fair catch signal. And then it was the Nebraska game where the reason we lost was Cooper DeJean and Petrus both got hurt. Those are the only 3 losses in November for Kirk.
Yeah. Okay. So Lucas Hook says that his contract is up in 2029. I believe it's the 29-30 season. So that means after this year, he has 4 years left on his contract. So I would fully expect him to get a 1-year extension at the end of this season to keep it at 4 and 5. All right. Vandy says, how do you say that name? That quarterback for Vanderbilt? Pavia?
I call him Pavia.
Pavia.
Okay. It's the best college. He is the best in college football at running a mesh and knowing when to give and when to pull. He is excellent at it and sometimes throws off the pole. Vandy, he was having a hard time this weekend when Vanderbilt kind of blew up this weekend against Texas.
Yeah, we can always depend on Vandy to bring up some university called Vanderbilt.
What's a school?
On an Iowa podcast.
But he's also an Iowan.
I know, but I'm going to go bring up Iowa. I'm going to go bring up Iowa on a Vandy podcast every week.
If UCLA wasn't already part of the Big Ten, you'd probably hear me mention UCLA a few times on an Iowa podcast because I live right by UCLA, right?
Okay. I tried to stick.
By the way, do you see that UCLA is getting ready to move their football team out of the Rose Bowl and they're getting sued?
Yeah, they probably have a lease that they got to live up to.
Yeah, they do. They're signed for quite a few years down the road. Vandy says I want Iowa in a bowl game, so he wants Vanderbilt and Iowa. I don't know what it would take for both teams to end up in the same bowl.
It would take them finishing about where they're at. 3rd in their conference, 4th in their conference. Go to the ReliaQuest Bowl or whatever, Music City or something. I don't know if Vanderbilt.
Most places I see have Iowa.
Will Vanderbilt lose? I know they played Tennessee probably last game of the season. Are they lined up to probably have some more losses or not? I don't know. Vandy can answer that. Because I don't know. I know the Big Ten schedule.
While he's getting ready to answer that, why don't you talk about some of your Oregon notes people on some people and you want to talk. You got notes on Oregon. Let's talk about them real quick.
We've covered some of them, but and I think you might have covered. Oregon averages over 250 yards passing and 6.3 yards a carry running the ball. And they're one of the top defenses in the country. And I think I've mentioned that how good they were. One of my notes on the Oregon game is Gronk is so smart, and you hardly ever see this. He's averaging almost 65% passing when he's not blitzed, and when he's blitzed, he's averaging almost exactly the same completion percentage. that is you have to be a very intelligent quarterback to be able to do that in college football. So that's very good.
Okay. I'm going to answer the question you asked, Vandy. They are not losing to Auburn and Kentucky, and he thinks they match up well with Tennessee. 9-3 at the worst, lost to Tennessee, but he feels good about 10-2 right now in the thick of the playoff talk. Okay, now let's go back and finish your conversation.
Oh, I would expect him them 3 games that he mentioned. I'd expect Vanderbilt to win all 3 of them, but myself. But is that all the games they have? Is those 3 or what?
Yeah,
I'm not sure about.
Yeah, some teams have 3 left, some have 4. Iowa has 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are we frozen again?
Iowa has the best 4th down stats in college football when you combine 4th down success on offense and stopping 4th down plays by the other team. They're only letting the other team be successful on like 20% of 4th down plays, which is ridiculous, because most 4th down plays, are 4th and 2, 4th and 1.
Yeah. Yeah, most people don't go for it except Minnesota Vikings went for 4th and something and long and gave Laporta the ball, and he just carried everybody into the end zone. But I can't remember how many yards that was, but that video's been floating around. I think you saw it too, Calvin, because you mentioned it. You shared it.
I posted it on all the sites. But then one thing that was mentioned since our last game was that they said in the second half, the Iowa offense, they shut it down. And me and Jason talked about that. They had 2 possessions in the 3rd quarter, and then Gronk stayed in 1 more possession in the 4th quarter, and they literally threw the ball over 60% of the time. How is that sitting on the lead? Can anybody answer that? Or
I've already explained to you. I told whoever the last person that said that was, they literally kept throwing the ball in the second half.
But I seen you put that comment on that podcast, and then Dean didn't read it to him.
No, you didn't read a lot of my comments on the last podcast.
You didn't read mine either.
I'll be honest.
If somebody else, when I'm on a podcast, if somebody else puts up a comment on this darn podcast we're on, Dean, boy, he interrupts and he just reads it. But if Jason or Calvin make a comment, it's like, oh God, we got to post this a second time to see if Dean will they read my comment, but.
Okay. All righty. What else you got? Because I want to go on to our picks before we leave.
Yeah.
I compared the Oregon-Iowa game to Ali Frazier. Oregon's the talented guy like Muhammad Ali that's faster, quicker, more talented. They got way more talent than we do. And anybody that says that's not true is crazy. Our guys that are fast, our fast guys run 4.40s or 4.45. We might have one guy in the secondary. I don't think we have one that runs under a 4.45 40. But Oregon, they got 4.25s and 4.3. So I think it's an Ali Frazier type deal where Frazier beat Ali once, but for the most part, you got to lean towards Oregon winning probably at least 60% of the time, even with this good Iowa team we got. But anyway.
All right. So Vandy, he actually kind of concurs with you a little bit. He goes, yes, those are our last 3 on Iowa. I really worry about them having enough speed with their linebackers or on edge to get up the field to force everything into the middle. We're getting ready to do our pick. Marty Polka's in here, 31-17 Iowa. I don't think Iowa scores that many points, but I'll go with the win on you. All righty. All right, guys.
You guys are lucky. You guys are lucky you have another hour till I thought the basketball game started in 5 minutes.
7:30.
Yeah, I
7
just
o'clock.
looked it up.
Starts at 7 o'clock, doesn't it?
7:30 Central. 7:30 Central.
That's when Dean
Oh.
said, "Ask if I could do a show tonight." You know, I got so much build up from not being on for over a week that I'd like to cover it all. And he says, "Well, we'll go on at 5 because the game don't start till 7:30." And I go, "Well, 2 hours will be good, you know."
Yeah,
But
that's what I thought.
a lot of times we do 2 hours, but
Yeah, I think we're headed that way tonight a little bit. Guys, I want to ask. I picked out some games. A lot of these games aren't that great. There isn't a lot of great games on. Let's see. Vandy one more time has a little thing. He goes, "I want to say Iowa, but I have to go with my gut feeling. Oregon 27, Iowa 13." Okay.
Well, he picked
I don't think
Minnesota to beat
Iowa.
Iowa.
Iowa's
Has
not
he picked
favored.
Iowa to win? Has he picked Iowa to win any week? He picked Minnesota to beat Iowa.
I'm sure he picked us against UMass and Albany.
Yeah,
you know, because he had to get us to 4 wins somehow.
But remember,
right.
him and Andrew didn't have us more than 4 to 5 wins total all year. Okay.
I know.
I think Andrew said 7. Andrew said 7. And he said 4.
Oh, okay. Andrew switched it to 7 after the Iowa State game.
Yeah.
Okay. Indiana at Penn State. Kelvin, give me your pick.
Indiana at Penn State. Well, Indiana is is one of the top 3 teams in the country. I would think anybody would know by now that A&M, Ohio State, and Indiana are 3 top teams. So I think I better pick Indiana.
All right, Jason. Any upsets
Penn
here?
State ain't got their quarterback. You know.
Indiana. Yeah, it's Indiana.
You got to believe that as much talent as Penn State's got, that sooner or later they're going to flip this around. All right,
Not without the quarterback.
I'll leave Paul's blank, but I took Indiana as well. Okay, here's one's a little bit more tougher for it. I'm going to let Jason pick first. BYU at Texas Tech.
I got to roll with Texas Tech on this one.
I'm going to the Red Raiders and their $168 million NIL package.
I mean, it's in
Did I not
Lubbock.
predict at the beginning of the year that Texas Tech would be in the playoff hunt? Okay.
I don't know. They're in a JUCO conference, so who cares?
And they still got a loss.
Yeah. Chris says he had us at 4-8 preseason. Kudos on being much better than it looked on paper. Penn State has had so many injuries. It is unbelievable how bad it's been. Okay. All righty. A&M at Missouri.
Vandy had Iowa in 13th place in the conference. I got our picks right in front of us.
Oh, wait a minute. Hey, I forgot to tell you. I took BYU, guys.
Good.
Why am I stupid? I'm taking Tech. Never mind.
You can't switch after listening to Jason's pick again.
No.
You can't do that every week.
While we're on this show, and as long as the game ain't been played, I can switch.
Me and Jason are resigning our positions.
Okay.
He does do that a lot.
How about A&M at Missouri? I took A&M.
As what a quarterback A&M has, what a roster they have. I'll take Texas Agriculture and Military School.
I think the national championship game is going to be A&M versus Ohio State. I got A&M.
Okay. All right. Nebraska at UCLA.
I'm taking UCLA. I'll take the team that's got a quarterback.
I'm going to go with UCLA as well, but I'm going to be really interested in how Nebraska runs their offense now. They have a running quarterback. You have an air raid offensive coordinator with a running quarterback. This is going to be interesting.
What I'd like to say about that is, UCLA, can they run the ball? Because that's what Nebraska can't stop. Nebraska has one of the top 2 secondaries in the Big Ten. That's what I'm kind of interested to see that.
Okay. I too went with UCLA, but it will be interesting to see because this quarterback obviously can run the ball, and so can he do it enough and not get rattled enough You know, the good thing he's got going for him is he's out in they're playing. I'm sorry. The Nebraska quarterback is playing in the Rose Bowl where the crowds don't show up for UCLA games.
But they're used to it.
And I must have made another funny because you guys are laughing at me again.
I was making faces. I was making faces trying to make you lose your concentration. Is what I was doing.
I was trying not to look at you.
I got real close to the camera like this, and I kissed.
Oh.
But anyway.
All right, yeah.
Vandy's right. Okay. Vandy's right there with the freshman quarterback. He's right. Kid is good.
All righty. Wait a minute. We all picked UCLA. That's unrare. That's rare. Maryland at Rutgers.
Is Nebraska going to win? Is Nebraska going to win another game this year? You know. So.
Well, you don't know. We don't know. They still have talent, just like Penn State. They still have talent. You know.
I don't know how much talent they got, but they don't have an offensive line and they don't have a defensive line.
Okay. Yeah. Can we pick Maryland at Rutgers? I took Rutgers just to let you guys know, so you don't think if I'm changing my mind again.
That's a tough one. You go ahead, Jason, then I'll copy you.
I'm going to take Rutgers because of the quarterback.
Yeah, I wish I knew who was healthy or not for Maryland and stuff, but it's at Rutgers.
Yeah,
at Rutgers.
Yes.
God damn it. Gold darn it. I'm going to take Rutgers, and both teams will be like 5-5 or something, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Maryland's quarterback is really struggling right now.
Okay, here we go. Oh, and I took Rutgers as well. I already told you that. OU at South Carolina. Go ahead.
Boy, South Carolina. I thought South Carolina was going to be so great this year. Supposed to have this great quarterback who sucks. So I'm going with Oklahoma, and the Hawkeyes of the Big 8, Oklahoma. So.
Well, I'm going to go. I mean, Oklahoma, obviously, but that quarterback you're talking about, Lester, in the preseason. This is what I told Dean, but I didn't tell Vandy because I knew they would just talk smack about Gronowski. This was when Vandy was really talking smack about Gronowski. Lester compared Gronowski to Sellers. He's a slower version of Sellers at South Carolina, is what Lester said.
But a better decision maker. But
Sellers, last year, Sellers was freaking good, right? Mm-hmm. So there's something missing in South Carolina right now. And it turns out Gronowski's actually been better than Sellers. So as far as decision making and running the football, everything.
So who'd we pick?
Vandy took Maryland. He says after the mess last week about the fake story of Loxley losing, about getting fired, the Terps show up and show out. Vandy's taking South Carolina in that after they fired Mike Shula, now that they can call a game to his ability.
What is it with all this fake stuff? It's like Russian bots or something. Every week I was getting a commitment in women's basketball, and Loxley's getting fired, and it's like crazy.
Yeah. Did South Carolina fire the coach? Is the coach Mike Shula?
Beamer will probably he'll probably go to Virginia Tech or something.
No, Virginia Tech is already making a deal with James Franklin.
Well, I know that, but he's not going to go to Virginia Tech. Franklin will end up at one of them.
Did he come from there originally?
No, he come from Vanderbilt, but
okay.
Franklin, that's just a negotiating tool. He's going to go for a bigger job than that, I think. That's what I think. But.
Okay. All righty. Next game. Iowa State at TCU. I took TCU because Iowa State's in a free fall.
Yeah, I'm taking TCU.
Jason, what's TCU's record? That's how much I follow the JUCO ranks.
It is
the JUCO ranks. TCU's a pretty solid.
That's not major college. Big 12 is not major college football. And you watch, they'll put 2 or 3 of them teams in the playoffs.
TCU is 6-2.
6 and what?
2. 6-2.
Well, I'll take TCU then. Onward, Christian soldiers. Texas
Jason,
Christian,
how about you?
Texas Christian. I'm a Christian. You know, I'm a Christian. I ain't like Dean taking the Mormons and BYU. Oh, the Mormons are Christians too.
No, he switched
Forget
his
I
pick.
said that.
I switched my pick. I picked Tech. I no longer pick the Mormons.
I'm going to get us kicked off the internet. Go ahead.
All right. I took TCU. Jason, did you give me your pick yet?
3 times.
TCU, he said.
Okay. All right. I gotta pull this one up here real quick.
Jason picked my game.
So here we go. Fire the OC. Beamer should probably be fired for letting Shula ruin the season for Sellers. Last thing for Vandy so far. Here we go.
So far.
Calvin trash talking the Big 12, knowing dang well that Iowa State beat Iowa. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, they've beaten us 3 out of the last 9 years. You're on a roll, Vandy.
Okay. Vandy's picking the clones this week because they hung with Arizona State last week. Okay. 3 more games, guys. 3 more games.
If they play a backup quarterback, I'll pick Iowa State if they play their backup quarterback. He's better than the starters.
What they say that they might switch quarterbacks. That's like what way to stab Rocco in the back. Jesus.
I mean,
Jason, do you want to switch to Iowa State, or do you want to just hold off?
Oh no, I'm not switching Iowa State. I'm going to make Iowa State prove to me they can win. I'm going to root my ass off for them.
Okay, I think this is a game this week. I had to verify it. Florida State at Clemson.
That's a game this week?
Well, it was on the games that they gave us on.
There's 2 teams that won like 3 games each.
Yeah, it is. It's on the schedule. I'm taking Clemson.
I took Clemson as well.
It's a night game in Death Valley.
You know I'm on Clemson watch, right?
Yeah, so you want them to lose, so you're going with Florida State.
I'm a Hawkeye fan. You know, I'm going with, who was it? The Seminoles?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. In Bobby Bowden's memory.
Okay. Here's one, guys. You're gonna have to pull this one out of your butts.
Uh-oh.
Murray State at UNI.
Murray State at UNI. UNI is so bad. I'm not picking UNI. Here, just a minute. I gotta get it out of my butt. There we go.
All right. You might want to know that both
that
teams
felt pretty good. That felt pretty good. You might want to
know that both teams are winless. They're in the same conference. Winless in their conference.
Murray State's in UNI's conference now.
Yeah, I looked it up.
Aren't they from Kentucky or something?
I have no idea, but they
Murray State's in Kentucky, I think.
So I took UNI because I want the Panthers to pull one out. They're at home in the dome.
Where's Jason at?
I don't know, but pick your pick. You picking Murray State or UNI?
I'm gonna go with UNI if it's in the dome, but both teams are so awful it doesn't matter.
You should have took TCU, Jason.
I did take TCU.
I know, but you should have took them in this game too, because they could have beat both these teams.
Okay. All right. Vandy says, UNI, fire the whole damn staff. UNI should be ashamed of the past few years. This once proud program used to be a staple in top 10. Vandy, you do know that they have a whole new coaching staff this year, including the head coach, right?
Yeah.
So you're choosing UNI or Murray?
I picked Murray State.
You did? Okay.
Yeah. I just knew UNI was so bad this year, you know.
Okay. All righty. Our final game. And I need the scores, guys. picking the Oregon-Iowa game.
I'm going
tell you
last.
right now.
I'm going last, so you guys
Alrighty,
don't
I
steal
took
my pick.
Iowa 16-13.
Iowa wins 27-14.
Wow, I hope
Okay.
you're right, man. I hope you're right. I mean, Coach, because that would make me rest easy. But guys, I won't find out the score of the game until after it's over, so you don't have to worry about me going off on anybody. I'm gonna write Vandy down here. Vandy's got 27 for Oregon.
For the only way Iowa wins the game, in my opinion, and I'm wrong all the time, Vandy will tell you that, is that we have to Oregon's going to have to turn the ball over multiple times. We're going to have to somehow hold them to 3.5 yards a carry or less, I think, which is like half of what they're averaging. And we're going to have to make it into a war, I think, and run the ball. But anyway, if you want my prediction, which I know you're waiting, I'm going to say Oregon 28, Iowa 18. I'm just trying to stay real because I don't like predicting games. But
yeah, I like how the players today were talking about how they have to keep it physical and violent. I like when they said violent. I could see some hits taken out. You know, some of
that's
these
what
people.
That's what I was known for, is physicality and playing discipline. You know,
Yeah.
one good thing though, Kirk in his career at Iowa against top 10 teams in Iowa City is 5-1 in his career.
Yeah. And you know what? By the time the game gets to the fourth quarter, this is going to be a night game because it's going to be pitch black at 5 o'clock. So fourth quarter, this would be like a night game in Iowa City. If we're in this game, the crowd's going to go nuts.
They're talking by game time. The temperature will be 50, then it'll be in the low 40s by the end, and it's supposed to be raining and windy.
Okay, well, that favors Oregon.
I don't know who that helps.
It helps Oregon because that's the kind of weather they're used to playing in.
I don't know, but the only game he's lost top 10 at Iowa in November is, what game was it? Somebody told me what it was.
What?
Oh, it was the Michigan game. It's the Michigan game where Connor Stallions cheated.
You're never going to forget that one. You brought it up. You brought that one up more times than I can remember.
Well, they cheated. That's why he's banned from college football, and Jim Harbaugh's banned, and they gave him the game ball in the locker room after the game, even though Jim Harbaugh said he didn't even know the guy, and he wasn't even working for Michigan, you know?
Yeah, and the coach, the current coach is also going to be suspended for a couple of extra games next year.
And that game was a close game, a lot closer than the score.
Yeah.
You know?
Lewis Hook, 17-10 Iowa. He's thinking more along the lines I am, a defensive battle. So guys, any parting words you want to say?
I just think Iowa's going to wear down Oregon.
Okay.
I think they're just going to keep beating on them.
I hope so, because I want my Hawkeyes to win. But
yeah, me too. Guys, like I said, I'll be wondering all afternoon how that game went. I'm not even sure my mind will be where it's at, where it needs to be. But I might as well just forget about it because there's nothing I can do about it. I can't watch it. I will watch the recorded version that I'm recording, so I can speed through the commercials. And if we lose, this will be the first time I've ever rewatched the game that we lost, just for the fact so I could talk intelligently on Sunday night. I should be back in time Sunday night.
I've been envisioning in bed at night these Iowa-Oregon game, and I keep seeing Oregon getting more of these big plays on offense, and every one of them I dream about is a damn running play. Like where their running back who runs a 4.25 40, that freshman is like, he's got one guy to beat, and the guy can't catch, It's like Caleb Johnson get in the secondary, Jason. Was anybody going to catch him?
He never got caught once. He only got caught at angles. He never got caught.
He ran out of bounds a couple times, and then Kirk benched him.
Right.
Just stopped himself, But anyway, I'm scared. I'm scared of this game. But
yeah, well, I'm always scared of Iowa, even when they play other teams too, and
But you'll be with Jesus, so you'll be fine.
Jesus and I are going to have a serious conversation before the game starts.
You'll be with Jesus, and I'll be with Jesus.
Oh boy.
Okay, guys, thank you. This has been a fun, entertaining, informative show. Thank you for carrying us through it tonight, and this should be interesting weekend. I want to tell everybody we will have a show Sunday night. It might be later than normal, but we will have one. I promise you that, because I'm not going to skip another episode. So hit the follow button if you made it this far, or the subscribe button. Hit the like button, leave a couple of more comments, and share it out. Guys, thank you. See you guys Sunday night.
Yep.
Go Hawkeyes.